Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors. My name's Tom Novak, and what happened to this Serissa that I got from my friend? Today is 10/27 to 21, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius. It's about 8:30 in the evening. I potted this Serissa on April 20th of 2021 for him to try out, and he came to me today and says, "Tom, it's dying." So let's see what happened. Right now, I'll show you the tree. You can see it's almost on its last leg. So you can see how wet it is now, because when I got it, the soil was super dry. So what I did is I took the Serissa and I put it in water about up to here so it gets good and saturated. Then I watered the top real good to flush everything out. So right now, before we see what to go on, what I want to do is add Micus and Azus, and I also mix some wettable powder into my jug here to put in between the roots. And also I'm going to use the other Micus and Azus also, but I'll show you how we're going to do that. So right now I'm going to take all this out of here. The rock can stay because it's in there pretty good, but I'm going to take all this top dressing off. Just like that. Now, when you make a bonsai tree and if you give it to somebody, don't be upset if they goof it up, because they're on a learning curve. They're learning, so all you can do is help them out and say, "Hey, don't worry about it. Let's see if we can bring it back to life." And the main thing is, with a lot of trees that they die, is the watering. You can see all the leaves are dry on there. There we go. Just take my little rake here. Now it's good and saturated, and I'm gonna put it outside even though it's cool out, because I want these roots to have a chance to grow. I don't want no foliage taken off now, because even though the basement is warmer than it is outside, which is good, I mean, you have to let these roots grow. And right now there's like a curly Q root right there. So what I'm going to do is take that little piece of root off right there and right there. And that's it. I'm not going to do nothing else to the roots. But let's see how far back is the dieback on this tree. So I'm going to cut right above a green leaf right there. I don't know if you can see it. Let me bring it in more so you can see better. There we go. And this is dead up to there. I'm going to cut this back to here. Now see, a lot of it's green. So that means that the tree still has a lot of vim and vigor in it, but I'm just going to take most of this dead stuff back so we can get the roots to grow. Yep, the branches are green still. Let me see if I can peel the bark a little bit so you can see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. You can still see it's still green. So all we're going to do is give it a light pruning, because we want these roots to recover. So I'm just going to cut it back to where the little green little green leaves are starting to sprout. Now, since these cuttings are smaller than the thickness of a pencil, you won't have to put no lipstick on it or anything. See, this one's still good. This one is into there. We cut that off. Going on the inside where we still got some green there. You can still see some green. There's some green trying to come out over there. I'm going to take this one off right to here. Yep, it's still green. And then this one, let's see what we got. Just pull the leaves off. Pull all the dead leaves off the best you can. I'm going to have to give him a couple of those cheap toothpicks so he can learn how to water better. But I mean, it's a learning experience for people. I mean, you can't get upset with them because they're trying, and that's the main thing in bonsai. You try, and if And if you fail, you do it again. So we're just going to help them out. I'm going to cut some of this stuff off, so right there, and that's all green still there. There we go. Let's see if I can cut that a little better so I can get a little bit flush there. I know this is like a water chute over here, so, but it's green. So right now I want to get the energy back into the tree, so I'm going to leave it there. I can always cut that off in the spring. And once I get it to grow, I'll give it back to him and let him try it out again. I mean, he's gotta learn. I mean, people feel bad that it dies on them, or it looks like it's dying, but, well, that's life. I killed many a trees, and I always try. I'm going to cut this one back here because it's like a fork growing in. So just like that. I mean, it looks a little pukey, but hey, what are you going to do? Now, before we do anything else, we're going to clean this off real good. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to add some of the Micus and the Azus in there, and then we're going to water it in with the wettable powder. There we go, just like that. Take that out of there. So all I'm going to do is take a bamboo chopstick. And usually when trees grow, rule of thumb is on the outside. When you're feeding your outdoor trees, you go by the drip line. This is your drip line. So all I'm going to do is put a little hole there, a little hole there, one towards the side of the pot here. Now this is a bonsai tree, so you know the roots are going to be all over the pot, but that's just rule of thumb. And then one over here. And the reason why I'm putting the holes in there is because I want to be able to get our beneficial bacteria on the inside. So right now I'll take the Micus out and the Azus. And then all we're going to do is take and put it in the hole. Put a little bit in each hole. You get about 3/4 of the hole filled. And that way there, that'll spread out. Let's cover that. Now the Azus, we're going to do the same thing into the hole. Just like that. See if we can get it in better. There we go. And then with the Azus, I'll just give it a little bit on the top there. And then we'll take our Micus and sprinkle a little bit on the top. Now we're going to do this to try to get our roots all back into shape. Just like that. We're trying to get this tree to live. So in order for it to live, we got to get these roots growing and give the tree life again. Remember, always put if you use the ketchup bottles and the condiment bottles, just put them back in your bag because it'll keep the light out and that keeps it from deteriorating. And this is the Micus wettable powder that I mix. It says about 1 tablespoon per gallon. So I use about 1/2 tablespoon into a 1/2 gallon container. So now I'm going to get my torpedo sand and put it on the top so I can help cover up the beneficial bacteria. And I'll take my spoon. And you can see, this is why they call it torpedo sand. You see all the thick granules in the sand? So that's what we want in torpedo sand. It helps it with a good drainage. Real good drainage. So Serissas like the soil moist, but they like good drainage also. And when it just gets dry on the top, then you got to give it some water. But right now, this will be easier to help them see when the plant starts to get dry, because as the soil dries, the sand will get lighter and lighter. So that's another good way of helping somebody to know when to water their plants. Besides using a skewer, you stick it in, let it sit for a little bit. And by doing that, it'll tell you if the ground's wet or not, because when you pull it out, you'll see if it's moist or if it's dry and how far down the road it is into the pot, into the container, how dry it is also. But there we go, just like that. Now we're not going to worry about decorating or nothing yet, because we want to get the tree on its road to recovery. There we go. Just like that. And then what I'm going to do is take my spray bottle and just put the sand. Now I gave this a good watering, remember. It sat in water for about 20 minutes because I wanted to get it rehydrated and get all the air bubbles out of the pot. So now we'll just give it a good watering with our wettable powder. Now don't worry, that wettable powder will be put to good use, because I'm going to use it outside in the evening right now to get the other plants watered in. There we go. Because usually when you mix your wettable powder, you want it to use it up right away. You don't want it sitting there. So now all we do is take all this excess paper out. There's my napkin. Just brush it. We'll clean the pot out. And then after a week or two, if I see the plant growing, then I'll call my friend up and have him come over and let him try it out again. And for the winter time, I'll tell him to put it in a nice, bright, sunny window, away from the heater. Mist the leaves every once in a while because the house gets dry. And that's about it. So, yellowing of the leaves too as they dry out. So just pull them all off by hand. You don't have to be meticulous and cut them off. And you can see they're on there pretty good, so that's good. That's a sign the tree is still fighting for dear life, so that's good. There we go. Okay, so fingers crossed. Let's see if our Serissa will make it. So I'll have him come over, let him see what he did wrong, show him what I did, and I'll keep it in the yard. Give it plenty of in the brightest sun I can right now, in the autumn sun. And the cool night should help bring it about, help the roots to grow and take off, and get the plants to start to grow. Today's Wednesday night. Put on an old time radio mystery show. You can put on The Shadow or a good detective show like Dragnet or The Whistler. Or there's so many, Lights Out. I'm not going to shut the lights. I could shut the lights off, but I don't think we should do that right now, because I don't think you'll see anything unless the candles light it up. So make yourself a nice hot pot of tea. This is what I do to try to save the plants. I use the beneficial bacteria to help the roots get out of stress and to get the plant back on its feet again. So we keep our fingers crossed. With the cool weather, roots should grow, and hopefully when we bring it inside, it'll start to grow a little bit. So you take care, everybody. Make that hot cup of tea. Put on an old time radio show, mystery show, detective show, whatever you're inclined to listen to, and have a great evening. Take care, everybody, and thanks for coming.